My name is Shane Ivan Nash. Stay tuned and hit that like and subscribe button.
This is the Transparency Podcast Show.
You said we're not going to get political, and I just went so hard for you, huh? You're like, I'm sweating right now. Why are you doing this to me, Shane? This is what I do, Shelby. I've learned to start talking and tell my story because I honestly, you've seen me. I've been very professional and quiet for many years. But I've also learned a lot in that position, and now I feel like it's time for us to start speaking up.
Yeah, and as I see you wearing a LA hat.
Yes, I am. I'm doing that, because the Dodgers actually made the right decision, and I'm very proud of you as Mr. LA Pride. Thank you very much for bringing the sisters back, because I was born and raised here. I love baseball, and it broke my heart to see that, and I'm so happy to see that correction has been made for our community, because we want to celebrate. Look, we like hot dogs and beer too.
Yeah, so since we are on the branding or on the organization topic,
yes.
So I want to mention about the swimming sports team. When I heard this story, and I actually on a news diet since February, but I do know what's going on.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, the second, I forgot her name, the cis woman.
I forget her name.
Yeah,
too.
But that
don't
woman,
me.
yeah, that is okay.
Sorry.
But that woman, that sports lady, woman came out and she was crying on TV. She was like, feeling her number one, crown got stolen, blah blah. And she said she worked so hard, blah blah blah. But when I heard that, my thinking is, but the trans woman athlete also work hard. You don't know, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure she did work hard too.
Yeah.
And my reaction to that is they all compete together, right? If this individual is not happy with whoever in the competition, she should speak out in the beginning at the first place, not after she lost and become second place.
Does that make sportsmanship, sense? Honestly, yes. Right there. That's literally a bad loser. And I've played sports a long time. That is not how you do it at all. Genetic testing alone when it comes to sports. And this is one thing that folks want to sit here and debate this, that, and the other about bone structure and all of that. The rigorous amount of testing that goes on to put these folks into professional sports is ridiculous. I mean, they can't have certain vitamins because it'll test as they're having some sort of advantage. So the fact that this individual was so upset just because she lost, that's not how sports used to run.
Right.
If anything, I mean, you want us to talk about all American sports, what happened to being a good sport?
Yeah, so that's what I feel people are, just follow what the news said.
Yeah.
And then they don't have their own critical thinking. See, if she's not happy, she'll speak up in the beginning, even before the game start, not after. Right?
Yeah.
And then what if she happened to be number one? Would she be still doing this? Right?
Exactly. It's selective. It's very selective and convenient how folks are using that trans identity to somehow escape any accountability when it comes to maybe their own flaws. Maybe she trained harder. You have to realize as trans people, I'm sure you feel this way. I know I feel this way. Many folks I've talked to, we all feel like we have to go 10 times as hard. So it's not a surprise to me that trans athletes are excelling, but also you really take a look at the records, trans women are actually not as excelling as much as they are, because that narrative that they're creating isn't actually true. But if you actually take a look at someone in the trans masculine community, the boxer, guess what? His last fight, he knocked the guy out clean. They had to stop the fight. So where's the narrative that, women are weak and they can't transition and have this, strength? It's all just this rhetoric that is causing confusion. And when in reality, like scientifically, we were all born women at the end of the day. I mean, really, it's just some chemicals that happen in the second trimester. Some things grow. But as someone who takes testosterone, I can tell you, like, we're all pretty much the exact same thing, with just different egos and problems that we carry. That's really what it is.
Different experience make who we are. So misconception. I feel like, because in Florida, the drag show community got attacked.
Yeah.
This is also, I think it's part of the misconception because
Yeah.
because we both know
That's a veil.
drag people who does drag is not identify their gender as a transgender.
No.
Yeah, they're just entertain, just like we have talk shows or comedy,
Yeah.
stand-up comedy. So
Yeah.
that's just part of the entertainment. So it's kind of sad that, Florida happens
They did
to
it
be like that.
purposely, actually. They're doing it purposefully, legislatively. If you really take a look at what's going on in the politics, the way things are being presented and the way that there's a certain agenda to get onto the school boards, to get into certain areas that they didn't used to touch. Now, all of a sudden, they're getting in those areas.
Right.
They're creating these narratives that are completely not true about our community, while simultaneously creating and stoking fear to make it seem like we're doing something, when in reality, we're like 0.1% of the population.
Exactly.
And the fact that you have to realize even Tennessee is spending the money they're spending to legislate maybe 3 people in the state, while there's, issues when it comes to housing, employment, roads that are, need resurfacing.
Yes.
There's so many more important things that these politicians could actually be doing with their time, and they're not. They're finding everything they can to distract and push it onto minority communities. And unfortunately, because the trans community doesn't have even the support within its own community of the LGBT as a whole, because, white supremacy is really interesting how it kind of plays out in our community, especially cis white gay men. I'm saying it, Shelby.
Okay.
I wrote it in the book, so it's already in there too.
Right.
But the way that power structure and their proximity to white supremacy and how they kind of navigate within the community, it's like, I'll do this, but I can't do this. I'll do that. I can't support this community because then it will take this. And it always involves money. It's really just kind of gross at the end of the day, because, that 70 cents to the dollar that women allegedly are making to the $1 of the male, that hierarchy structure, that patriarchal structure bleeds within to the LGBT community. And it's time that we actually really address it. And, I got a few chapters for you to read at the end of the book if you need any questions on what that looks like. And, you can always reach out to me on Instagram too if you have any questions. And like you said, neutrally, I know a lot of people see trans folks kind of sit into the idea of running to the Democratic Party, which to a degree we have to, because they do vote in certain ways we do. But even myself, I find myself sometimes in the middle because of the way that we're treated and put in the middle of things, but we don't actually get real services. So if there's, the left or the right, if they actually want to start being held accountable and actually show up for the trans community, maybe those decisions can change. But right now I am blue leaning just because of everything that's going on. I think it's important to vote that way. But, it always opens room for discussion for folks that are making even mistakes and holding them accountable within our own community, because we can all do better,
Yeah, at the end of the day, trans or not trans, straight or not, or gay, we all pay taxes, right?
Exactly.
We have our rights. We should be all united together.
Right.
Otherwise, the
representation or taxation without representation is like, in the Constitution. So we've got to actually have the representation of trans folks and that access. And, like I said, we work 10 times as hard. We have to as a community. And I feel like if we put more trans people in positions, especially in society, I think we could do a little bit better.